Once, in the middle of a scorching desert, there lived a weak little sparrow. The heat in the desert was unbearable. The sand was burning, and life in that barren land was almost impossible. The sparrow's feathers had fallen off. Her wings had no strength, and she could not fly anymore. Every day, she searched for food and water, but found nothing. Her days were filled with loneliness, her nights with fear, and sometimes she thought, why has God kept me alive if there is only pain in my life? One afternoon, while she sat weakly under the little shade of a rock, she saw a figure walking slowly in the distance. As he came closer, she realized it was a young monk. He looked tired from his journey, but peaceful in his steps. Gathering her strength, the sparrow called out in a trembling voice, "Oh monk, where are you going?" The monk stopped and walked toward her. His eyes softened when he saw the poor bird. His heart melted at the sight of her suffering. The monk smiled gently. He said, "I am going to meet my master. He lives on the other side of this desert. He is a man of great wisdom. But tell me, what are you doing here? And how have you reached such a miserable condition?" The sparrow replied in a sad voice, "I am suffering a lot because of my fate. My life has become unbearable. I am weak. I cannot fly. I have no food, no water, and no home. Please tell me, when will my suffering end?" The young monk paused for a moment and then said softly, "On my way back, I will tell you what he says." The sparrow lowered her head and whispered, "I will wait for you." And so, the young monk continued his journey across the desert. When he reached his master's cottage, he bowed down and told him everything. "Master," he said, "on the way, I met a sparrow who is living in great misery. She asked me to find out when her pain will end. Can you please tell me the answer?" The old master closed his eyes. Silence filled the hut. After some time, he opened his eyes and said, 10 more years of suffering are written in her life." The disciple's heart sank. 10 years? Master, if I tell her this, she will break completely. She has no strength left to endure even 10 more days. Then how can she bear 10 more years? The master placed a hand on his disciple's shoulder and said calmly, "Yes, such is her fate. But there is one way. Tell her that in every situation, whether she is hungry, thirsty, weak, or lonely, she must thank God with her heart. Gratitude will protect her from sinking deeper into sorrow." On his way back, the young monk found the sparrow waiting anxiously for him. Seeing him, her eyes lit up, and she said, "Oh monk, what did your master say about me?" The disciple hesitated, but then he spoke slowly. He said that you have 10 more years of suffering ahead. The sparrow froze. Her tiny body trembled, and her eyes filled with tears. 10 more years. I cannot live even 10 more days like this. The disciple knelt beside her and gently said, "Do not lose hope, little sparrow. My master also gave away. He said, whatever happens, in every situation, thank God with all your heart. Say it sincerely, thanks Almighty for everything." The sparrow was silent for a while. Then she whispered, "I don't understand how this can help me, but I will try." From that day, she began to be thankful in every situation. When she felt weak on the burning sand, she whispered, "Thank Almighty for everything. Thank you even for this hot sand." When her throat dried with thirst and there was no water to drink, she said, "Thanks Almighty for everything." When her feathers dropped and her body ached, she still repeated, "Thank you Almighty for everything." Days passed. Slowly, something began to change. Slowly, the sparrow's feathers started to grow again. She felt new energy in her wings. One day, the sky filled with dark clouds. Strong wind blew, and soon, heavy rain poured down. The desert bloomed with green plants. Water collected in one place and formed a pond. The sparrow drank water, ate seeds, and felt as if life was returning to her body. She spread her wings, and to her joy, she could fly again. Weeks later, the young monk returned through the same desert. To his surprise, he saw the sparrow flying happily in the air, surrounded by greenery and life. He rushed back to his master and said, "Master, Master, you told me that she had 10 more years of suffering, but in just a few weeks, her life has changed completely. How is this possible?" The master smiled gently and said, "Yes, 10 years of sorrow were written in her destiny, but she changed her destiny. When one truly says, 'Thanks Almighty for everything' with a pure heart, it burns away all karma. What was written as 10 years of pain ended in just a few days." The story of the sparrow and the young monk is a mirror of our own lives. Each one of us goes through phases when everything feels dry, empty, and hopeless, just like the barren desert. We may lose our strength, our confidence, or even our will to keep going. In such times, like the sparrow, we often ask, "Why me? When will this suffering end?" The Master's message to the sparrow carries a deep truth for all of us. Gratitude has the power to transform pain into peace and change even what is written in destiny. When life pushes us into difficulties, we start to complain, feel helpless, or blame others. But complaining does not remove pain, it only increases it. Gratitude, on the other hand, gives us the strength to endure and open doors for change. The sparrow decided to thank God even for her pain, her hunger, and her weakness. At first, it made no sense, but slowly her heart grew lighter, her strength returned, and even her surroundings changed. This is exactly what happens in our lives too. When we begin to see blessings in hard time, when we learn to say thanks even in hardship, our attitude becomes positive, and a positive attitude attracts positive situations. In our own lives, instead of focusing on what is missing, if we focus on what we still have and be thankful for everything, we will find that even deserts can bloom into gardens. So, always remember, life does not change when circumstances become easier. It changes when our mindset becomes stronger, when we learn to be thankful in every situation. Our attitude becomes positive, and a positive attitude can turn failures into lessons, struggles into strength, and dreams into reality. So friends, you have seen how the sparrow's suffering melted away when she embraced gratitude. Life does not change when problems disappear. Life changes when our attitude changes. If you like this story, then do hit the like button and share with others. And to keep this channel growing and these stories coming, you can show your support. Viewers in India can simply scan the QR code on the screen, and friends from outside India can use the thanks button below. Your support means a lot to us. And if you want to hear more such inspiring stories, then make sure to subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon button. I will see you in the next video with another inspiring story. Till then, stay blessed and take care.